and his murder men, an exposure of the Jesuits. Recently, at a press conference in the Stormont Parliament buildings, I dealt with a political statement made by Bishop Cathal Daly of the Roman Catholic hierarchy in Ireland. The bishop had put forth 4 propositions. Number 1, that Mrs. Thatcher, the British Prime Minister's out statement rejecting the proposals of the New Ireland Forum for a United Ireland played into the hands of the IRA. 2, that all Unionists who rejoiced at that statement should be bracketed with the IRA as extremists. 3, that Roman Catholics in Northern Ireland were denied real rights and democracy. 4, that the Dublin government had just as much right in the North as had the British government. That final proposition, by the way, is a treasonable doctrine which would morally justify an invasion by the South of the North of Ireland. Commenting, I called the bishop the Black Pope of the Republican movement. The pressmen present threw up their hands in seeming horror, but none of them knew who the Black Pope was. I explained that the Black Pope was the name given to the head of the Jesuit order, the most powerful order within the Roman Catholic system. In an aside, I might say that the bishop should have felt very pleased that I had elevated him so high up in the hierarchy of the church to which he belongs. Then, when I explained to the press who the Black Pope really was, the head of the Jesuits, they again said, "Who are the Jesuits?" And I described them as the Gestapo of the Roman Catholic Church, the front men who carry out the Pope's orders throughout Christendom. Again, the press men represented threw up their hands in seeming horror and said this was a terrible thing to say about any order within the Roman Catholic Church. But what are the facts? I quote from The Secret History of the Jesuits by Edmund Paris. I'm giving a quotation from the Reform, which is what the press of the Spanish dictator Franco published on the 3rd of May, 1945, the day of Hitler's death. Quote, Adolf Hitler, son of the Catholic Church, died while defending Christianity. It is therefore understandable that words cannot be found to lament over his death, when so many were found to exalt his life. Over his mortal remains stands his victorious moral figure. With the palm of the martyr, God gives Hitler the laurels of victory. End of the quotation.